ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألا إن أولياء الله لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون الذين آمنوا وكانوا يتقون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. جزا الله عنا سيدنا مولانا محمدا صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وبارك وسلم ما هو أهله. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت يا حي يا قيوم تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا سهلا. فسهل يا إلهي كل صعب بحرمة سيد الأبرار. سهل إلهي خير قرداني بحق شاه جيلاني. Just to continue with the topic that we started, inshallah, today I'm going to talk about the Karamat, the supernatural events that occur at the hands of the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And let me emphasize this fact. I did mention this before. Karamat, supernatural events, charismatic talents, paranormal activities, not those that you see on TV or those that allegedly someone can capture on the iPhone on Belmont Road. We're talking about haqq, supernatural events that happen at the hands of the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who all affiliate and are adherents to and followers of the orthodox mainstream madhab haqqa ahl sunnah wal jama'ah. And subhanallah, there is so much we can talk about in relation to the karamat of the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But just to begin with, subhanallah, I'm going to talk about karamat and the truth of these karamat occurring at the hands of the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as proven in the light of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And thereafter we will give you real karamat, not mine, of the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, let me also emphasize this fact that karamat, supernatural events, miracles are not the criterion to establish someone's wilaya or not. So basically, you don't sit in front of a wali, in front of someone who you assume as a wali, or who you want to ascertain whether he's a wali, and then try and find out whether he has some supernatural event that happens at his hands. This is not the criterion standard of wilaya. The standard of wilaya is what Shaykh Al-Qadiri Jilani Al-Ghawth Al-Azam radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said: استقامة فعله على قانون قول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, the perseverance and steadfastness of a person's actions according to the sacred law brought down by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is a karama of a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is the greatest sign by which you can ascertain whether someone is a wali or not. That they are firmly established, steadfast on Sharia. Yes, this is the most difficult thing, for you not to waver, for you not to falter in terms of your perseverance on Sharia. Islam says you do this and you do it. Islam says this is haram, you don't go towards that. And you remain steadfastness on this throughout your lives, then this is a greater sign of this person's wilaya than karamat. For this reason, Imam Junaid al-Baghdadi radiyallahu ta'ala anhu wa ardah, someone told him once, let's go and meet this Ghawth. Ghawth is a very, subhanallah, it's the highest rank of wilayah. We went through the system, the hierarchical system of wilayah last week, and you know where a Ghawth is situated. Today everyone is a born wali. Even though they don't pray their namaz, even though they don't ever turn to the masjid, even though their knowledge is as shallow as a novice KG student, even though they don't follow and adhere to the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This incident will inshallah highlight what is understood by wilayat. Some people have made it as a joke. I'll be honest with you, this entire system has turned into a business, and unfortunately the true awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are tarred in the same brush. People judge them as the same ones. But alhamdulillah, Ahlul Haqq will remain. They will be manifest, even though there is a lot of corruption that surrounds it, and there's this cloud of confusion and misconceptions in relation to wilayah, in relation to shuyukh. But alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pierces through this cloud, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes this awliya apparent, and this shall happen until Yawm al-Qiyamah. Imam Junayd al-Baghdadi said to those disciples, to his muridun, okay, fine, inshallah, let's go, let's seek some barakah of this wali. So they went, and the person was not there, who was an assumed wali, or Ghawth rather. When the person came, this wali, in inverted commas, entered the masjid with the left foot, contrary to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, which is to enter the masjid with the right foot. This person entered the masjid with the left foot. Look at this, subhanAllah, look at the criteria they've set. Imam Junayd al-Baghdadi, Imam al-Ta'ifa, a great wali, the sheikhs of Al-Ghawth al-Azam, Shaykh Al-Qadiri al-Jilani radiyallahu ta'ala, Imam Junayd al-Baghdadi radiyallahu ta'ala. Imam Junayd al-Baghdadi saw the person enter the masjid with the left foot. He turned his face away and he said, let's go. They said, Huzur, okay, don't meet him, but just do salam and then we can go. He said, no. A person who cannot be trustworthy and cannot guard the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, فَكَيْفَ يَكُونُ مَأْمُونًا بِأَسْرَارِ اللَّهِ, how can that person be entrusted with the secrets of Allah? How can that person be a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah. If this person cannot follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, cannot adhere to the teachings of the beloved of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how can such a person be a wali of Allah? He set the standard. Shaykh Bayezid al-Bustami radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, the subhanallah Imam of the Naqshbandi silsila, Imam Bayezid al-Bustami radiyallahu, Imam Junayd al-Baghdadi radiyallahu, said about him, his station amongst the awliya, his rank amongst the awliya is like the rank of Jibreel alayhi salam amongst the angels. As the Bayezid Bustami radiyallahu anhu, his name is Tayfur bin Isa. Imam Abdul Wahhab al-Sha'rani radiyallahu anhu mentions in Al-Tabaqat al-Kubra, and there is another book which is referred to, which was written by Imam Abdul Wahhab al-Sha'rani rahmatullah, that anyone who remembers his name, insha'Allah, until he breathes his last, his actual name is Tayfur bin Isa, then inshallah he shall enter Jannah. Subhanallah, paranormal activities have already started. The actual meaning of what do the ulama state here? They say, inshallah, through the barakah of this name, through the barakah of the person remembering this name, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make him lead such a life that will make him enter Jannah. That is why by remembering his name, you will enter Jannah. Wallahu ta'ala. He saw someone who was regarded as, in the eyes of the common people, as a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he went to meet that person, and this particular person, he spat towards the Qibla direction. Okay, he spat towards the Qibla direction. And very similar to Imam Junayd al-Baghdadi radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Hazrat Bayezid Bustami radiallahu ta'ala anhu turned his face away and he said, I don't want to meet him. I don't want to meet you. I don't want to meet that person. People said, why? He said, a person who disrespects the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he can never be a wali of Allah. The Kaaba, the direction of the Qibla, is sacred. It is to be held with reverence and respect at all times. Let alone spitting towards it. You're not allowed to stretch your legs towards that direction. But this wali, in inverted commas, spat towards the direction of the Qibla, and so my heart tells me that he cannot be a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But as for those who are the true awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they will exist until Yawm al-Qiyamah. I did mention to you this before, when we mentioned the hierarchical system of the awliya. There will always be the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala present on this earth, present amongst us. We may not be aware of them, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through their blessings, through their virtue, showers rain upon the people, gives them succor and help and support. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala averts calamities from them by virtue of these awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they will remain, and they are those very people who shall be circumambulating around the Kaaba al-Musharrafa. And they are the very people who shall recognize Imam al-Mahdi radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And they are the very people who shall be from the followers and the army of Imam Mahdi radiallahu ta'ala, who shall annihilate Dajjal, the Antichrist. The Jews and the Christians and the disbelievers will be annihilated. They will be the standard bearers, the flag bearers of Islam. They will be those who shall kindle the hearts of the people in the ends of time with the light of Islam, and there shall be the nur of Islam that shall be spread around the entire globe. Who are they? The awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They shall remain until Yawm al-Qiyamah. Now, in light of the Quran, does the Quran mention something about Karamat? You know, when we talk about Karamat, you know, Shaykh Al-Qadiri Jilani radiallahu ta'ala anhu's Karamat, Shaykh Bayezid Bustami radiallahu ta'ala anhu's Karamat, Imam Junayd al-Baghdadi's Karamat, Khwaja Gharib Nawaz rahmatullah alayhi's Karamat. People say these are all fictitious stories, things you've just made up. And then that fake sheikh sits on the YouTube and then starts na'udhu billah, criticizing, objecting to the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rarely thinking about the fact that criticizing the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is waging a war against Allah. Man aada li waliyan faqad adhantu bil harb. Whoever shows enmity against my wali, I have waged a war against him. This is what Allah says, Hadith Qudsi. They should be very careful in terms of what they speak about, in terms of what they comment and the remarks that they make in relation to anything, and especially in relation to the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Kahf. Surah Al-Kahf starts with dhikr of Karamat. The Karamat of Hazrat Khadir alayhi salam, knowledge of the unseen, ilmul ladunni. Karamat of the 7 sleepers of the cave. The first Karamat which Allah subhanahu wa mentions about them, subhanallah, Inna ashab al-kahfi wal-raqim kanu min ayatina ajaba. They are the wondrous signs of ours, the 7 sleepers of the cave. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they slept in the cave for 309 years, according to one authentic narration, 309 years. And when they woke up, their bodies were intact, they were fresh. There was no harm caused to them. And it is because of this karama, people who became renegades and apostates because of the tyrant king who ruled over before them, they had then turned to the pure and adulterated version of Christianity, which is obviously Islam. They became Muslims by seeing this karama of the 7 sleepers of the cave, who had slept in the cave for 309 years without their having a need to, subhanAllah, eat or drink anything. SubhanAllah, they weren't in need of anything, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them survive for 309 years of sleep. Thereafter they woke up, and the incident which is mentioned in the Quran then continues. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions another karamat of them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتَرَى الشَّمْسَ إِذَا طَلَعَتْ تَزَاوَرُوا عَنْ كَهْفِهِمْ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ. And you will see that the sun, when it rises, it declines to the right from their cave. وَإِذَا غَرَبَتْ تَقَرِدُهُمْ ذَاتَ الشِّمَالِ وَهُمْ فِي فَجْوَةٍ مِّنْهِ. And when the sun sets, it turns away from them to the left, while they lay in the midst of the cave. So basically, subhanallah, another karama of theirs is the sun, the declination of the sun, the position of the sun was in such a way that they get the nutrients from the sun in such a manner that they don't need to go out and eat the food or get external nourishment, supplements for their body. They get the natural nourishments and supplements from the rays of the sun, and the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala positioned them in their cave. ذَلِكَ مِنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ. These are from the manifest signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. مَنْ يَهْدِ اللَّهُ فَهُوَ الْمُهْتَدِ. Whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides is rightly guided. وَمَنْ يُضْلِلْ فَلَنْ تَجِدَ لَهُ وَلِيًّا مُرْشِدًا. Whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whoever in his fate Allah has written that they will be misguided, he cannot find any wali. I.e., they will not be from the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will not be from those who believe in the awliya. And they will not be from those waliya murshida who believe in the murshids, in the shuyukh. And so this is a subtle hint from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in relation to ahlul haqq and people who are on the truth. They are always those people who attach themselves with the awliya and who have a murshid. Subhanallah. And then Allah says, وَتَحْسَبُهُمْ أَيْقَاظًا وَهُمْ رُقُودٌ. You will assume that they are awake. Their state of sleeping was that their eyes were open. So by you looking at them, it would seem as though they are awake. وَهُمْ رُقُودٌ. Whereas in actual fact they were asleep. وَنُقَلِّبُهُمْ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ وَذَاتِ الشِّمَالِ. When you go to sleep, you turn on your right side and your left side. Subconsciously. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? They slept for 309 years. وَنُقَلِّبُهُمْ. We made them turn their right side and turn to their left side. Subhanallah. وَكَلْبُهُمْ بَاسِطٌ ذِرَاعَيْهِ بِالْوَصِيدِ. And their dog, Qitmir, stretches forth its two forelegs at the entrance of the cave, or in the space near to the entrance of the cave, as a guard at the gate. لَوِ اطَّلَعْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ لَوَلَّيْتَ مِنْهُمْ فِرَارًا وَلَمُلِئْتَ مِنْهُمْ رُعْبًا. If you would have looked at them, you would have certainly turned back from them in flight, in fear, and would certainly have been filled with awe of them. This dog that they had, Qitmir, the Prophet ﷺ said, this dog, Qitmir, it will enter Jannah because of its company with the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanallah. If a dog, inanimate object, is granted Jannah through its connections with the awliya, through its nisbah, through its khidmah of the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then what do you think about the blessings which Allah will give to those mu'mineen, muwahhideen, mutawassilin, muhibbeen li Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who spend their entire lives making mention of the awliya, who live for the sake of the awliya, who die for their sake. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will most definitely resurrect them amongst the awliya and give them their grace in their company in Jannah Firdaus, in the company of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet sallallahu also mentioned that the face, the body of Qitmir, the dog, will be, the form of it will be Bal'am Ba'ur. Bal'am bin Ba'ur was a Jew who turned against Musa alayhi salam. So the dog will get the form, physical appearance of Bal'am Ba'ur, and then this Qitmir, subhanAllah, this noble dog, blessed dog, will enter Jannah. And Bal'am Ba'ur will be given the form of the dog, and he should be cast in the pits of the hellfire, because he went against Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. So Allah mentions in Surah Al-Kahf the karama of the seven sleepers of the cave. So you cannot deny a karama. Karama exists. So if this karama was given to the awliya of the Banu Israel, then what do you think about the karama given to the ummah of the Prophet ﷺ, who are the greatest of all awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who are followers of the greatest of all prophets, and therefore they are the greatest of all communities, the ummah Muhammadiyya sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Another thing which Allah mentions here, another story, another incident. You know the incident, the background of the incident is, very briefly, Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam, there's many narrations. He had obviously control, the birds, the entire creation was made subservient to him, the wind. He was given control over the wind. He was given control over the jinn. He was given control over the animals, the beasts, the birds. He had a particular bird known as Hudhud. Hudhud. Which in one narration is known as a hoopoe in the English language. A hoopoe. Allahu A'lam. And the hoopoe bird used to give him shade on the right side. So Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam was flying in the air, and obviously as he was flying in the air, his entire kingdom would fly with him. All the beasts, all the animals, all the jinn with him. And then they camped, they set flight, they settled, came down, descended in Sana'a, in Yemen. So what happened was, he felt obviously heat around him, and he would have two birds on each side. The hoopoe, the hudhud on his right, and another bird on his left, that would give him shade by stretching their wings. So he felt heat on his right side. So he looked, and hudhud, the bird, wasn't there. So he became angry. Where's hudhud? In another narration it said, Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam descended at that place, and it was nearing the time of salat, and namaz, and he wanted to do wudu, ablution. And hudhud was the bird that would look over, watch for water, where there is the sources of water. So Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam, because it was nearing the time of the qada of that namaz, he was about to miss that namaz. He became angry and he said, if hudhud doesn't come to me now, I will sever its head, or else it gives me news about why it had delayed itself from coming to me at my service. SubhanAllah, look at the importance of salah. The only time they showed anger was at the time when something happened, and it was nearing the time of breaking the perimeters of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not that the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ever transgress the limits set by Allah. They are ma'asum, they are completely infallible, immune. But this is to give us a lesson. So hudhud, what had happened? This bird, it went to search, obviously for that hukm, to search for water. In the midst of searching for that water, it found, subhanallah, it met with another hudhud from the kingdom of Bilqis. This hudhud of Sulaiman was known as Ya'fur. The hudhud of Bilqis was known as Ya'fir. So Ya'fur means Ya'fir, and they have a conversation. It's been recorded in the books of tafsir. I'm not going to go into that. Basically, then what happens? The hudhud returns back. Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam sends the eagle. The eagle comes and it's about to prey with its talons on. It's about to capture hudhud. The hudhud says, "Grant me respite. I've come with great news. Take me to Sulaiman alayhi salam." Hudhud goes to Sulaiman alayhi salam, and the hudhud, the bird, says, "I have come from a mighty kingdom of Bilqis." It's a huge kingdom. She has hundreds of thousands of governors under each governor of each province that constitutes a part of her kingdom. There are 70,000 workers under each governor, and she has 100,000 of governors. That's how huge her throne is, how huge her kingdom is. But the thing is, they do not worship Allah, they worship the sun. Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam said, "Okay, I forgive you then." But then what happens later on? Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam sends a message via hudhud, go to them and tell them that they need to come to us as Muslimin. They need to believe as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the only one worthy of worship. Bilqis, the queen, Bilqis, she consults her viziers, her officials, her chiefs, her people in her court. and they say, we are people of a mighty nature, we have great power, we are people of a great mighty kingdom, no one will be able to harm us an inch, don't worry about it. Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam was waiting for the answer. When he did not receive any answer, he was sat in his throne, in his palace, and he said this: قال يا أيها الملأ أيكم يأتيني بعرشها قبل أن يأتوني مسلمين. Sulaiman alayhi salam said, O people, O my chiefs, O chiefs, as in people who are very close to him, his servants, which of you can bring me her throne, her entire throne? We can imagine the extent of her throne, before they come to me surrendering themselves in obedience. Who can bring me that entire throne in one piece? Who can bring the entire throne for me? Without a crane, without any plane, without any mode of conveyance, who can bring the entire throne to me? الله أكبر. قال عفريت من الجن أنا آتيك به قبل أن تقوم من مقامك وإني عليه لقوي أمين. And Ifrit means a strong, wild, evil jinn from the jinn fraternity said, I will bring it to you before you rise from your place, from your meeting, before you stand up from this meeting of yours. I will bring the entire throne to you. Subhanallah. And verily I am indeed strong and trustworthy for such work. However, Sulaiman wanted it even before that, even quicker than that. So what happened? قال الذي عنده علم من الكتاب أنا آتيك به قبل أن يرتد إليك طرفك. الله أكبر. One who was granted a portion of the knowledge of Zabur, Psalms, which was given to Dawood alayhi salam, the father of Sulaiman alayhi salam. A person who had a part of a knowledge, a fraction of a knowledge of the Psalms of Zabur, whose name was, according to one narration, Asif bin Barkhiyya radiyallahu ta'ala awali, from the time of Sayyidina Sulaiman alayhi salam. He said, O Sulaiman alayhi salam, I will bring the entire throne with all the subjects and every single person who comes under the kingdom of Bilqis. I will bring all of them even before the blinking of the eye. Even before the twinkling of the eye, I will bring the entire throne before you. How long does it take for you to blink the eye? You do it subconsciously. Milliseconds. Within a millisecond, he brought the entire throne and he brought it before Sulaiman alayhi salam. Then what happened? فَلَمَّا رَآهُ مُسْتَقِرًّا عِنْدَهُ قَالَ هَذَا مِنْ فَضْلِ رَبِّي لِيَبْلُوَنِي أَأَشْكُرُ أَمْ أَكْفُرُ وَمَنْ شَكَرَ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ رَبِّي غَنِيٌّ كَرِيمٌ. When he saw the mighty throne before him, he didn't become arrogant that I've got these servants of mine who do such work. Subhanallah, what did he say? He said, this is by the grace of my Lord. هَذَا مِنْ فَضْلِ رَبِّي. It is not through my work or his work. It is through the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that one of my servants, one of my awliya has been given such a power that he brought the entire throne before me in a millisecond, and it is right in before me. And this is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to see whether I am grateful or ungrateful. And whoever is grateful, truly his gratitude is for his own self. And whoever is ungrateful in relation to the bounties of Allah which Allah bestows upon him, he is ungrateful only for the loss of his own self. Certainly my Lord is independent of all wants. He is the most bountiful. This is another karam which Allah mentions. A third karam which Allah mentioned in the Holy Quran. Subhanallah. This noble daughter given to a noble mother. Subhanallah. Daughters are a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's entire chapters that have been mentioned after daughters. Surah Maryam. What is Surah Maryam? Surah Maryam is mentioning, subhanallah, a mention of dhikr of, a discourse of, an entire chapter dedicated to Sayyidatuna Maryam, a great waliyah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What happened when she was born? Subhanallah, her mother made a vow. Oh Allah, if you grant me a son, I will give this son in your way. This son of mine will, be waqaf fi sabilillah. فلما وضعتها قالت ربي إني وضعتها أنثى وليس الذكر كالأنثى وإني سميتها مريم وإني أعيذها بك وذريتها من الشيطان الرجيم. When she gave birth to a daughter, she said, I've named her Maryam, and O Allah, I give her in your refuge, and I give all of her children in your refuge, in your protection, in your safety, in your security. فَتَقَبَّلَهَا رَبُّهَا بِقَبُولٍ حَسَنٍ وَأَنْبَتَهَا نَبَاتًا حَسَنًا. Allah accepted this gift of Maryam radiallahu ta'ala. Subhanallah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala appointed Zakaria alayhi salam, who was related to Sayyidatuna Maryam radiallahu ta'ala anha, to look after her. According to one narration, she was isolated in the Masjid-e-Noorul in Jerusalem. And the place of isolation was that he had to climb a ladder. He had to go down. It was like a cellar. You have to go down. That was where she was. What happens? What is the karam which Hazrat Zakaria alayhi salam sees, which Allah records and mentions in the Quran? كُلَّمَا دَخَلَ عَلَيْهَا زَكَرِيَّا الْمِحْرَابِ وَجَدَ عِنْدَهَا رِزْقًا. Every time, each time Zakaria alayhi salam would enter the sacred precincts where Maryam radiallahu ta'ala anha was isolated, he would find fruits from the unseen. He would find sustenance from the unseen realm. In summer, he would find the fruits of winter near her, and in winter, he would find the fruits of summer. So he asked Maryam radiallahu ta'ala anha, Anna laki hada? Where did he get this from? No one has access to this place. Where did he get this? She said, Subhanallah, قالت هو من عند الله. All of this is from Allah. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَرْزُقُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants sustenance to whomsoever He wishes without any hisab, without any account. What happened then? This is actually a refutation of those people who say, don't go to the cave of Hira, don't climb the cave of Hira, it is shirk and bid'ah. Don't go to the places where the Prophet ﷺ received blessings of wahi. Don't go to the places where the Prophet ﷺ was granted triumph and victory over the kuffar. Don't go to the places where the Prophet ﷺ rested. Don't go to the places where the Prophet ﷺ made sujood and prostrated, where the Prophet ﷺ blessed that, subhanallah, piece of the earth with his blessed forehead by doing sujood on it. There is no blessings. What do you say about this? This is in Surah Al-Imran, Surah number 3, verses number 37 to 39. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say about Zakaria alayhi salam when he saw this? When he witnessed this karama happening at that place. هُنَالِكَ دَعَا زَكَرِيَّا رَبَّهُ. Subhanallah. This is subhanallah. Understand these verses. There was one driver, and he was quite hypocritical in the sense that he was taking us for ziyarat, and then he was telling us, what is the benefit of this ziyarat? So I was telling him, why are you taking us for this ziyarat? In Haramain Sharifain. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala state about Zakaria? هُنَالِكَ دَعَا زَكَرِيَّا رَبَّهُ. At that very place, in the sacred precincts, in al-mihrab of Maryam radiallahu ta'ala anha, Zakaria alayhi salam made a dua. He did not have children until that time. So he made dua where? Where Hazrat Maryam radiallahu ta'ala anha received blessings from Allah, where he saw a karama of Maryam radiallahu ta'ala. Exactly at that point, he made a dua which was accepted. Then if the dua of Zakaria alayhi salam is accepted because of the blessings of him making the dua, where Sayyidatuna Maryam radiallahu ta'ala anha were given blessings from the unseen realm, then what do you think about those duas and supplications which are made in the places where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam received the first revelation, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam isolated himself, where the Prophet ﷺ did sujood and qiyam and ruku, where the Prophet ﷺ made dua for his ummah, the exact places where the Prophet ﷺ trod upon by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you make dua in these places, your duas will be readily accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is guaranteed. This is what the Quran is teaching us. هُنَالِكَ دَعَا زَكَرِيَّا رَبَّهُ قال ربي هب لي من لدنك ذرية طيبة إنك سميع دعاء. Say Ameen. On behalf of every one of us, inshallah. Allah, Rabbi habli min ladunka dhurriyatan tayyibatan innaka sami'ud du'a, which is the most effective to acquire pious offspring. O Allah, grant me from you a pious offspring. You are indeed the all-hearing of the invocations, of the du'as, of the supplications of your servants. Innaka sami'ud du'a. Where did they make du'a? The exact place where Sayyidatuna Maryam radiallahu ta'ala anha was given the karam. What happened? Subhanallah. فَنَادَتْهُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ. This fa is for to indicate immediately. فَنَادَتْهُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَهُوَ قَائِمٌ يُصَلِّي فِي الْمِحْرَابِ. Whilst he was stood in the mihrab of Maryam praying his namaz, the angels came and they made a nida and they said, Subhanallah, أن الله يبشرك بيحيى مصدقا بكلمة من الله وسيدا وحصورا ونبيا من الصالحين. Oh Zachariah alayhi salam wa alayka salam, don't worry. You were in fear of not having any children, but alhamdulillah, through the barakah of the dua which you had made, at the exact place where Sayyidatuna Maryam radiallahu ta'ala anha was given karamat, supernatural events occurring at her noble hands, she received blessings from the unseen realm. We have answered your prayer, Allah has answered your prayer, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you glad tidings of Yahya, John alayhi salam, confirming, believing in the word from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanallah, he is noble, he keeps away from relations with women, a prophet from among the righteous. This noble son has been granted to you by virtue of your dua in the place of al-mihrab of Sayyidatuna Maryam radiallahu ta'ala anha. This is a karam which Allah mentions. Subhanallah. This is Subhanallah. Yeah, this is proof from the Quran. Now, inshallah, just to finish off for a few moments in time, subhanallah, just for a couple of minutes. Another place when subhanallah karama, the entire Surah Maryam mentions the karama of Sayyidatuna Maryam radiallahu ta'ala anha to conceive a child without a father. Yes. Hazrat Isa was born without a father. This is a karama in itself. Furthermore, when she was in the stages of pregnancy, subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to her, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded her, وَهُزِّي إِلَيْكِ بِجِذْعِ النَّخْلَةِ تُسَاقِطَ عَلَيْكِ رُطَبًا جَنِيًّا. Surah Maryam, Surah number 19, verse number 25. Shake the trunk. I think one narration mentions it was just after the delivery, the birth of Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, that she felt hungry. And there was a barren tree, not laden with fruit, bare. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Maryam radiallahu ta'ala anha, وَهُزِّي إِلَيْكِ بِجِذْعِ النَّخْلَةِ. Shake the trunk of this tree. تُسَاقِطَ عَلَيْكِ رُطَبًا جَنِيًّا. Subhanallah, fresh, ripe dates will fall. She shook the tree, the trunk of the tree, and fresh, ripened dates began to fall. She partook from those dates. This is in Surah Maryam. Subhanallah. Now, I'm going to mention this hadith. This is a very, very important hadith. I've spoken about karamat in light of the Quran, very briefly. Now, in light of the hadith of the Prophet, this is a hadith Qudsi. Hadith Qudsi means a hadith. The words are of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the tongue is of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I.e., the Prophet says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. Not matlu, not recited as part of the Quran. It is ghayr matlu, not recited, but again an authentic source of knowledge, hadith Qudsi. Sayyiduna Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu mentions this hadith, who narrates from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Man aada li waliyan faqad aadhantu bil harb. जिसने मेरे किसी वली से दुश्मनी रखी, मैंने उसके साथ ऐलान जंग किया. All of these, whether it be the ISIS, the Salafis, the Khawarij, the Wahhabi, those who detonate the mazarat of the awliya, those who na'udhu billah, destroy the maqamat of the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah declares a war against them. And Allah will, subhanallah, وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ. Every oppressor will know his fate in this dunya before he knows his fate in the akhirah. Allah will envelop every single one of them. He wages a war against Allah. If someone wages a war against Allah, you know obviously who's the winner. Allahu Akbar. That is why the ulama and the awliya state always to, withhold your tongues when it comes to talking about the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Restrict yourself, refrain from speaking ill about the awliya, because it is a poisonous arrow from the unseen that thrusts into your heart, and it severs, annihilates, destroys your iman. A person who speaks ill about the awliya, he will not leave this dunya in the state of iman. This is why Imam Abdul Wahab mentions, quoting Imam, and Imam Nabhani also mentions, quoting Imam Abdullah Yafi'i, that a person who speaks ill about the awliya, he will lose his iman, he will lose his greatest asset of this dunya before he dies. And we've seen it with our own eyes. We've seen it with our own eyes. Allahu Akbar. Whoever has mutual animosity with a friend of mine, I declare war upon him. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, some people say, we don't need to. We've become awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. अब तो नमाज पढ़ने की क्या ज़रूरत है? हम तो मक्का शरीफ में पढ़ते हैं. आप लोग मस्जिद-ए-नूर में पढ़ते हो, मैं तो वहाँ जाके पढ़ता हूँ. अच्छा हज़रत जी, तो जब दावत आती है तो आप यहाँ पे क्यों आते हैं? वहाँ पे क्यों नहीं खा लेते? वहाँ का तबर्रुक, दाल चावल खाने के तो या जी साहब दाल चावल ले आओ. Allahu Akbar. This is iftira on Sharia. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? وَمَا تَقَرَّبَ إِلَيَّ عَبْدِي بِشَيْءٍ أَحَبَّ إِلَيَّ مِمَّا افْتَرَضْتُ عَلَيْهِ. Allah, my servant does not draw near to me, close to me, with anything more beloved to me than the religious duties that I've imposed upon him, that I've made obligatory upon him. I.e., the most beloved thing through which you come close to Allah is what Allah has made farz upon you. That you do the farais first. Pray your namaz on time. Eat halal. Stay away from haram, which is another fard. Do the things which Allah has commanded to you. That is the most beloved thing which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves, through which, by virtue of which you draw close to Him. This is why there are certain awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who they weren't in need of supererogatory worship for Allah for the fadl of Allah for them to be graced with wilayah. They continuously were steadfast in fara'id. They performed the fara'id with quality, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala graced them with wilayah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues the hadith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, وَمَا يَزَالُ عَبْدِي يَتَقَرَّبُ إِلَيَّ بِالنَّوَافِلِ حَتَّى أَحْبَبْتُهُ فَإِذَا أَحْبَبْتُهُ فَكُنْتُ سَمْعَهُ الَّذِي يَسْمَعُ بِهِ وَبَصَرَهُ الَّذِي يُبْصِرُ بِهِ وَيَدَهُ الَّتِي يُبْطِشُ بِهَا وَرِجْلَهُ الَّتِي يَمْشِي بِهَا وَلَئِنِ اسْتَعَاذَنِ لَأُعِيذَنَّهُ وَلَئِنْ سَأَلَنِ لَأُعْطِيَنَّهُ. Allahu Akbar. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, my servant continuously draws closer to me, closer to me, closer to me, through optional, devotional, supererogatory worship. I.e., you do the fara'id, but alongside that you do the nawafil as well. Remember this. However, what you need to remember is the first part of the hadith. I did mention to you before, what Shaykh Al-Qadiri mentions, Ghawsi Pak mentions, the first priority is fara'id first. If you've not completed the fara'id, don't engage yourself in nawafil. He actually says a person who engages himself in nawafil has got qaza prayers to make up for. He's got fasts that he needs to make up for. He's got namaz that he needs to make up for. But then this guy is engaged in tahajjud namaz, Ishraq shash, Salatul Awabin, Salatul Duha, Salati Ma'akusa, the upside down namaz. It exists. And he does not take care of making up for his fara'id. Shaykh Al-Qadiri says this person will be abased, humiliated before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fara'id, the hadith. Fara'id first. Alongside the fara'id, if you've not got any fara'id left to make up, i.e. you've not got any qada. Otherwise, if you've got qaza namaz, you make up for them first, before the nawafil. Like instead of the nawafil, you change the intention to a farz. And then you continuously pray the nawafil, inshallah, continue, subhanallah. Hatta ahbabtuhu, until Allah says, I make him my beloved. This particular servant who underwent a series of mujahada, struggling with his nafs, waking up for the Fajr Salah, making sure that he does not miss his namaz from his prescribed time, making sure that he does not delay the appointed meeting when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala summons him to be in his court. He does not delay himself from that meeting. He continues to persevere and be steadfast in mujahada, struggling in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He keeps steadfast on halal, stays away from haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then says, I grant him the greatest cloak of robe of grace and bounty is that I make him my beloved. Allahu Akbar. Man kana lillahi kana Allahu lah. When Allah becomes yours, the entire creation becomes yours. Then Allah continues, وَإِذَا أَحْبَبْتُهُ. When I love this servant, فَكُنْتُ سَمْعَهُ الَّذِي يَسْمَعُ بِهِ. I become the nur of his hearing with which he hears. So he no longer hears with this organ, with his ear. Because hearing with this ear is limited, confined within the limits. Even with the use of a microphone, which is sometimes very dodgy, subhanallah, only a limited number of people within a limited confined space can hear you. But for the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they can hear your plea, they can hear your cry, wherever you may be, you should be called, Ya Shaykh Al-Qadiri Jilani Shay'an Lillah Al-Madad, he hears your call. Subhanallah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَبَصَرُ الَّذِي يُبْصِرُ بِهِ. I become the manifestation, the nur of his eyesight with which he sees. It is not that even with, subhanallah, these glasses on, my eyesight is only limited within the boundaries of this masjid, of these premises, of these walls. The awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reach that level of wilayah, of kashf, that they can see through the hearts of the people, they can see what is going to happen in the future, they can see through the walls, they can see through thousands of miles away. They hear the calls of the people, they witness those accounts as if the thing is right in front of them. نظرت إلى بلاد الله جمعا كخردلة على حكم اتصالي. Shaykh Al-Qadiri Jilani says, I looked, نظرت, in the past tense to give it more emphasis. I have already witnessed the entire world in the palm of my hand, as closely and as easily as if it is a mustard seed in my palm. Like this, the entire dunya, subhanAllah. People who deny the karamat of the awliya, they should not use Sheikh Google or Google Earth or communicate via social media or these new technological facilities that they've made. FaceTime. The guys in Baruch in India, and you FaceTiming. That's your karamah. Inverted commas. Subhanallah. But the awliya are not in need of this. They are sat in Baghdad Sharif, in the madrasa. Shaykh Al-Qadiri Jilani sat in his madrasa. Imam Shatanofi rahmatullah mentions in Masjid-e-Noorul Sharif, subhanallah, Shaykh Al-Qadiri Jilani was in his madrasa. And he was teaching. In the midst of his teaching, he stood up. And then he placed his blessed hand in his cloak. And he took it out. And it was dripping with water. The disciples, Allahu Akbar, were awestruck. They said, what is this? They were so awestruck they could not ask Shaykh Al-Qadiri Jilani about this. So they noted the day down, the time down, the exact time in which this incident occurred. Imam At-Tadifi in Qalat Jawahir, and before him Imam Shatanofi Al-Azhari Sharif mentioned, after 11 days an entire group of people come with gifts, with money, with offerings, and they come to Shaykh Al-Qadiri Jilani radiallahu anhu, paying their respects, giving their salam, thanking him, showing gratitude to him, showing subhanallah their utmost respect and reverence before this great wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And before they left, one of the servants, one of the disciples of Shaykh Al-Qadiri Jilani, who was present witnessing at that time when Shaykh Al-Qadiri Jilani 11 days ago was in his madrasa, and he put his blessed hand in his cloak and he took it out and there was water dripping from it. He asked one of them, why have you come? Where have you come from? We've never seen you before. We have no previous acquaintance. Where are you from? Subhanallah. They said, we are from such and such a place, exactly 11 days ago, and they mentioned the exact date and the exact time when Shaykh Abdul Qadir was in the madrasa. We were out at sea. We were on board the ship. There was turbulence, and our boat was about to capsize. Our boat was about to flip over. We were about to drown. That we made a vow to Allah. Oh Allah, oh Allah, we make a minna, we make a vow to you, a covenant, a minna, that if you save us from this calamity that has befallen us, this pain that has afflicted us, if you safeguard us from us drowning and being killed, then oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give offerings to Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani. And thereafter we said, Ya Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani shay'an lillah, Ya Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani shay'an lillah, Ya Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani shay'an lillah. They said a beautiful hand appeared and pulled the boat from its edge and took it to the coast, and we were safeguarded from being drowned. And we knew that this was not the hand of anyone save the hand of Shaykh Abdul Qadir al-Jilani radiallahu ta'ala. He was sat in Baghdad Sharif and he saved the entire boat from drowning. They were thousands of miles away. The exact same incident has been recorded in relation to Al-Azhari rahmatullah alayhi. Exact same incident. Sadhu Shah rahmatullah is narrator of this incident in Hayat Al-Azhari. He mentioned this, subhanAllah. Allah Akbar. And then the hadith continues. I become his hand with which he strikes. Again, the hand of Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani was in Baghdad Sharif. But look at the power. Allah's power, he becomes a manifestation of quwwah in his hand. He may be wherever he may be, but subhanallah, he can do tasarruf. He has been given the authority to help and support people wherever they may be. Subhanallah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَرِجْلَهُ الَّتِي يَمْشِي بِهَا, I become the power of his legs with which he walks. They don't need any transportation. Subhanallah. Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Allahu Akbar. It has been mentioned in Masjid-e-Noorul Sharif. One day, pilgrims set off from Baghdad Sharif to visit the sacred sanctuary of Haramain Sharif and Karamat. They perform Hajj. They went there. Allahu Akbar. And then they returned back. So they said, they gave greeting, they congratulated Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani. They said, Subhanallah, may Allah accept your Hajj, Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani. Hajj mabrur insha'Allah. Ziyarah maqboola insha'Allah. The disciples around Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani were saying, what are you saying? Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani has not left. He's been here all the time since you've been in Hajj. He was with us. We prayed namaz behind him. We attended his gatherings of sacred knowledge. We were continuously reaping his benefit. He has not moved from us for a single moment. He's before us. He was before us all this time. Why are you saying he was in Arafat? He was in Muzdalifah. He was clung onto the ghilaf of the Kaaba. He was seen walking between Safa and Marwa. He was seen drinking from the well of Zamzam Sharif. He was seen before the mausoleum of the Prophet. So how do you say this? He was in Baghdad Sharif. He said, no, by Allah, we swear in the name of Allah that we have seen Shaykh Abdul Qadir. We greeted him, we made salam with him, we accompanied him to the blessed mausoleum of the Prophet ﷺ. We drank Zamzam Sharif with him, we did the sa'i between Safa and Marwa with him, we pelted the stones on the Satan with him in Mina, we sacrificed alongside him. He was all alongside with us, blessing us throughout the journey. Allah, but they went to Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani and subhanallah, and he said, Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this honor to me that I can be present in many times, subhanallah. Even if I'm in Baghdad Sharif, I can be present in Medina Sharif, I can be present in Makkah al-Mukarramah. This is why in another narration in Al-Azhari Sharif, it says 10 or 50 people came to ask Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani to attend a da'wah. Da'wat, yani da'wat al-ta'am, food feast. Shaykh accepted, I accepted from your house, I accepted from you. And subhanallah, exactly in that same time, in 50 different places, Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani attended every single person's house. This is the karam which Allah gives them. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَئِنْ سَأَلَنِي لَأُعْطِيَنَّ, whatever he asks me, I will give him. Be from those people. Today we complain. You know, all these days, all these months, all these weeks, all these years I've spent making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I can't see the athar. The fault lies with you, the fault lies with me. The fault doesn't lie with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah's doors of mercy, Allah's doors of grace, Allah's doors of bounty, Allah's doors of blessings are always open. The fault lies with us. We fall short of yaqeen, we fall short of ikhlas, we fall short of ibadah. We are people Ramadani Musalmanis, Ramadani Musalmans. We will come in month of Ramadan, after that, subhanallah, Al-Wada, Mahi Ramzan, Khuda Hafiz. See you again next Ramazan. Mosque Al-Wada, bye-bye. Al-Wada Quran Sharif. Be from these people. وَلَئِنْ سَأَلَنِي لَأُعْطِيَنَّهُ. If he asks me, لَأُعْطِيَنَّهُ, lam ta'kid, noon ta'kid. In the Arabic language, when you have lam ta'kid and noon muthaqqal at the end, at the end as of a verb, it gives extra emphasis. I shall most indeed, certainly, undoubtedly give that person whatever he asks for. وَلَئِنِ اسْتَعَاذَنِي لَأُعِيذَنَّهُ. If he seeks my refuge, I shall surely grant him that. Subhanallah. If he seeks my protection, I shall protect him. The awliya remain in the protection of Allah because of their continuous ibadah, because of their mujahid, because of the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Aspire to be a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, remember what Shaykh Ahmad ibn Ata'illah Sikandi Rahmatul mentions. If you think that you cannot be a wali in your life, then you have belittled the power of Allah. Do your fara'id, do your wajibat, learn the sacred knowledge, stay away from haram, have ikhlas in your heart, and inshallah one day Allah will grant you the robe of wilayah, inshallah. In this dunya, and the great robe of wilayah in the akhirah. We finish at this point. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad, ba'adini judi wal karami wa alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallim. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا من فضلك علما يقربنا منك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع ومن قلب لا يخشع ومن نفس لا تشبع ومن دعوة لا يستجاب لها. اللهم رب زدني علما والحقني بالصالحين. يا كريم أكرمنا بدون الفهم وأخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. جزا الله عنا سيدنا مولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وبارك وسلم ما هو أهله. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Just a quick announcement in relation to